Radio Improntadigitale alla View Conference. I'm here with Glenn Entis, founder of Vanedge Capital, previous CEO of Dreamworks Interactive. You came here and you talk about a concept of gamification.
Yes.
What's that?
Gamification is the application of game design principles to businesses that are not game companies. So it's taking game design, which is a very strong design discipline, but it's primarily used to create entertainment, to create games, and it's really looking at how those game design principles can be used to make a lot of other activities either more interesting, more fun, more intuitive, more engaging.
Could you give us some examples of applications?
Yes, I mean, for example, a very simple example is using one of the most simple is for example badges. You know, people win achievement for checking into their local coffee shop or local store. That's what Foursquare does. That's one of the simplest examples. It's not a terrible example of gamification because it uses a very simple game mechanic, which is I do something, I get an award, I'm allowed to brag to my friends, the awards start getting harder and harder to earn, and you know, I can start moving my way up. So it's a very clear, very simple, and sometimes very effective use of gamification. But that's also the problem, because it is very clear and very simple, and because it's really tied to a very simple problem of just trying to get people to show up at a certain place or buy a simple thing. The problem is that people are starting to think that's all that gamification is, are loyalty programs or badges. And the gamification is a lot more than that, and sometimes a lot less than that. Gamification is a way of thinking about design. It's not necessarily just about badges or achievement programs.
So it's different to be a game designer and a gamification designer?
A game designer, in some ways the difference is very simple. A game designer makes games. A gamification designer uses game design principles to understand a different business situation. A good gamification designer is able to abstract a different, whatever business that they're working on. They can really understand the pieces. They can take those pieces apart, start to understand where the best place to either change or encourage different types of behavior, the best place to do that, and then they can apply game design principles to those processes to try to make it a stronger, more robust, more fun experience, whatever it is that they're trying to accomplish. But the key differences are a gamification designer, number one, has to want to make gamification designs, because there's a lot of game designers, they just love games, they're passionate about games, that's all they want to do is make games. They don't want to make gamification, and that's a big difference. Another difference is a gamification designer has got to be able to abstract those processes and really be able to think like a business analyst in a sense when they look at businesses, but then apply their game design principles to that.
You think gamification principles are applied in a social media contest?
Of course, all the time. I mean, very simply, there's some very simple things that people, wanting to get their entries liked in Facebook, or people, at the simplest level, feeling that the number of friends that they have in LinkedIn, or the number of contacts number of contacts in LinkedIn, or the number of friends in Facebook in itself is sort of a score. But there's some very simple, in almost any kind of reputation system, for example, in Amazon, if you're a top 50 reviewer or top 100 reviewer, that is very much a game design mechanic. I think anything in the reputation systems draw at least something from game design, but that's game design in a social context then where what you're really doing is showing status of some sort or showing reputation. Then there's for example, the area of Facebook games is another very good example. There are a number of